Thor and Rocket and Groot on Niflheim. Hey Marvel fans, welcome to my channel. I'm Treagle18, and today I'm talking about something that I didn't like about Avengers Infinity War. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it around so others can join the conversation. Let's geek out. At this point, I've seen Avengers Infinity War twice, and each time I walked out of the theater, there was something I couldn't really put words into. There was just something about Avengers Infinity War that I didn't like, and I don't want to. And I just want to say this before anything else, that I did like Avengers Infinity War. I thought it was a great film. I liked how it was it was very interesting how they did the film with kind of Thanos as the main character and made Thanos the protagonist and the Avengers the antagonist. Although when you really think about it, most superhero movies, the villains are the protagonists because they're trying to move the story forward of, you know, destroying the world or conquering the universe. And the superheroes are basically the antagonists because they're trying to stop that story of them controlling the universe from going forward. But it was really heavy. But that was really heavy in Avengers Infinity War, with Thanos being the protagonist, you know, pushing the story forward of getting the Infinity Stones and achieving his goal, and the Avengers just doing everything they can to stop that story from going forward. It was a really interesting way they did that movie. So I did like Avengers Infinity War, but there was something that I just couldn't put my finger on, of something that was just nagging at me, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And at first I thought it might have been the fact that this movie was a very heavy movie. It was very dramatic. It was very sad. If this weren't an Avengers Infinity War Marvel movie, I probably wouldn't have gone to see it, because I really don't like movies or TV shows that are just really heavy, that just make me really sad. You know, I've got enough depression in my life to not go willingly into a movie like that. But because it was Avengers Infinity War, of course, I went to see it. So I thought that might have been what it was I didn't like. And don't get me wrong, I didn't like that it was very sad, but I was also prepared for that. I knew from the start this is going to be a dark movie. This is going to be a heavy movie. This is going to be the darkest time for the Avengers in this story, and that people were going to die. So I don't think it was the fact that it was just really heavy on me, but I finally realized what my problem was with Avengers Infinity War, and it was that the Avengers were too spread out. Avengers Infinity War was a huge crossover collaboration, one of the biggest in movie history. They brought, you know, they already had just a huge number of original Avengers, and they're bringing in Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, they're bringing in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Everything that was going on in this movie, had they not probably spread them out, it probably would have been more of a mosh pit than it originally is. But because of that, the Avengers were kind of divided, and I didn't really like that from an Avengers movie. The first Avengers movie, the biggest strength of that movie was the fact that it brought the 6 original Avengers together. The biggest part of that story, despite Loki being just a great villain, but the core of that story was creating the Avengers, was bringing the Avengers into the same story, making them aware of each other, having them work together, and it was a great movie. It's still one of my favorite Marvel movies. And even if it's about bringing them together, there was still plenty of conflict, plenty of character development within the first 6 Avengers. I mean, there were a lot of grudge matches, of grudge fights between, like, Thor and Hulk, and Thor and Iron Man, and basically Thor and everyone. But even Black Widow and Hawkeye had a fight against each other, and that was the core of this movie, despite Loki being a great villain and kind of, you know, being that protagonist pushing the story forward. Well, I guess in Avengers it was kind of a give and take of who was pushing what story together. But I'm not doing an analysis of Avengers in this video, because I would have too much to say, and I'm trying to stay on topic of bringing the Avengers together. And there was the same situation in Ultron. Despite Ultron being, again, a great villain, I thought it was a great villain. James Spader as Ultron stole the show in every scene he was in. But the core of the movie was about the Avengers working together, and they're still dealing with their own personal conflicts, dealing with their own disagreements with each other. There was plenty of conflict and plenty of story development among the Avengers that were working together in Ultron, but it was still the core of the movie was about the Avengers coming together and working together to achieve this goal, to stop Ultron. Whereas in Avengers Infinity War, that's not necessarily the case. Kind of. It definitely, there are definitely plenty. The problem with Avengers Infinity War that I had is that the story was separated into 3 different parts. Well, actually 4 different parts. There was Captain America and the bulk of the Avengers in Wakanda with Black Panther. There was Iron Man and the Guardians and Spider-Man and Doctor Doom. Doctor Strange on Titan, and then Thor and Rocket and Groot on Niflheim, trying to get his hammer so they could join the fight against Thanos. And then there was Thanos doing his own thing, getting the Infinity Stones. And because of that, the story was really fractured in a lot of different places, and I didn't love that. In an Avengers movie, I like seeing the Avengers. I like seeing the Avengers all together. And I feel like that was kind of the weakness of this movie, is that the Avengers were so spread out. I mean, don't get me wrong, chances are if they had put all of the Avengers, literally all of the Avengers, all of the Guardians, all of the different heroes that they were putting in this movie, if they put them in one place for the entire story, that probably would have been a really big mosh pit and be really difficult to do. So chances are spreading them out was probably the best way to do that, but it was also the fact that Thanos was the main character, that they weren't putting as much attention on the Avengers, because we've got 10 years of their story leading up to this moment, whereas we needed to see more of Thanos and what his motivations were and what and why he was trying to do this. And each of the different Avenger parties were full of crossovers. You had Thor and Rocket and Groot. You had Iron Man with the rest of the Guardians and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. You had Captain America with Bruce Banner and Black Panther and Black Widow, and everyone, like probably the most of the heroes were in Wakanda. So you definitely had your own huge groupings of crossover heroes in those different fights, but it wasn't the same. And on the one hand, I'm glad it wasn't the same. It was different. It was something different. It wasn't just another Avengers movie where they're all together doing the same thing, which not to say that's what Ultron and Avengers were, but hopefully you get what I'm meaning. But it was very different, and I like change. I like something being different than it was before. It's something that we have to adapt to. But regardless of all that, it just wasn't the same, and it didn't sit completely well with me. I like seeing the Avengers together, especially Captain America and Iron Man. I would love to see, I cannot wait. That is one of the big things I want to see, is the Avengers who didn't meet face-to-face in this movie, meeting face-to-face in Avengers 4. I would love to see Iron Man and Captain America bro hug it out and, overcome their differences from Civil War. I would love to see Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch meet and actually get like the magic Avengers stuff going and like talking more about what that is, because it's not really magic, it's more energy manipulation than it is magic, but they call it magic and mystical because that's just what they do. I would love to see those characters meet. I would even love to see Spider-Man and Ant-Man working together. I think that would be great. I would also love to see Spider-Man and the Defenders working together, but that's a topic for another video. So the fact that the Avengers were so widespread in Avengers Infinity War, I just didn't like it as much as I liked Ultron, as much as I liked the first Avengers. But I understand why they were spread out. And I don't think that bringing them all together, bringing Team Iron Man and Team Thor and Team Captain America all in one place against Thanos and his forces, maybe they could have beaten Thanos. Maybe with Captain America and Iron Man leading their different groups in the same place, working off each other, maybe they could have stopped Thanos from ultimately achieving his goal and wiping out half the universe. Maybe that's what could have happened, but that's not what... I'm not talking about like I don't like that I think the Avengers are strongest when they all work together, although I do think that. It's more just from a storytelling standpoint, in that there were characters throughout this movie that, as great scenes as they had, and as great crossovers and working together with other characters from other franchises in this movie, there are characters I really wanted to see work together, and we didn't get that. And that was something that, just walking out of the movie, I didn't like as much as I like the other Avengers movies. I want to see Captain America and Iron Man working together again. I want to see all of the Guardians meeting all of the rest of the Avengers. I want to see Peter Quill return to Earth, and I think he and Spider-Man will get along really well. So it's that lack of some characters working together over other characters working together that was just the thing that didn't really sit well with me with Avengers Infinity War. What do you think about some of the characters not meeting in Avengers Infinity War, and do you have any thoughts on this topic? Was there something about Avengers Infinity War you didn't like? Let me know in the comments and follow me on all the internets. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it around so others can join in the conversation. You can check out my written reviews of Marvel TV shows and movies at www.treyguillotine.com and subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching and have fun.